Good morning. This is Keisha Spivey, and I am bringing you your Friday fire. I laid in bed this morning, kind of tossing and turning with what to share, and I didn't know the answer. And the Lord just told me to get up and get in front of you and to start talking. And even as I'm talking right now, I can just hear a couple things dancing in my thoughts, but one thing comes to mind more than the others, and it's Colossians 3:23. And that verse says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all of your heart as working for the Lord, not for man. Whatever you do, work it with your whole heart." And as I toss that around and I think about that, you know, so many people are doing things and they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know why they're doing. They're looking up and days are passing, weeks are passing, years are passing, and they're getting no closer to where they thought they would be or should be or could be. But the reality is they're just going through the motions and they really don't have a why. They don't have a why when they get up in the morning. They don't have a why when it comes to, taking care of their family. They don't have a why when it comes into their church, into community activities. And so they're just literally going through the motions. And every day is literally, they're just sucking up good air. But I want to challenge you today. What would happen to you if you really just decided to become intentional? What would happen if you literally decided to put a little purpose behind your what? The things that you did, when you looked at every single thing that you did in your life, those things, those assignments, those places that you're working, those people that you're dealing with, the people on your job that might be working your nerve, the people that are just hard and difficult to work with, those ones that are just like hard nuts to crack. What if you approach those situations and those dealings as working unto the Lord? What if you stopped turning around into how you felt and what you thought you should do and how comfortable it was and how convenient it was, and you turned it around and you put a Colossians 3:23 perspective on it, and you said, whatever I do, I'm going to do it with my whole heart, and I'm going to do it as I'm working unto God and not to man. There's something in our nature that just makes us want to be self everything about us. We're naturally selfish, we're naturally prideful. It's something that's just a part of who we are, and we have to work daily to come against that. We have to come against that intentionally through the power of God so that we can truly be compassionate, loving, empathetic people, not for any other reason than that's who Christ was. And we are called to be like him. We're called to love like him. We're called to live like him. We're called to follow his example. And so that's my challenge to you. This week I've had to do some evaluating. This week I've had to do some repenting. I've had to ask myself why I was doing some of the things that I was doing. And if it really was to reflect God, then why wasn't I putting my whole heart in it? Why wasn't I willing to inconvenience myself and sacrifice if it really was as unto the Lord? Keisha, how did you make it about you? And I had to fall to my knees and say, God, I am so sorry. Somehow along the way, I allowed myself to become an idol on my own heart. God, help me tear that thing down. Help me stop looking at this for how I feel about it or what I think. But why not allow my mind to be renewed to your thoughts and to think like you think and to do like you do with my whole heart as unto you, knowing that only what I do for you will last. So that's my challenge to you on this Friday. Sit down for a moment and think about all the things that you did on yesterday. Think about all the things you have to do today, possibly what you have to do this weekend. And then ask yourself, are you doing those things to just go through the motions? Or are you doing this work? Are you standing and stepping into this cause with all of your heart, working it with all of your heart, as working unto God himself? Or have you made this thing about man? Maybe it's you. Maybe it's approval of others. Maybe it's acceptance of others. I don't know. But we got to stop because there's too much that needs to be done, and it needs to be done with our whole heart. We have a world who's determined to go against God, and we need to have a body that's determined to rise up in the word and to truly, truly be like Jesus with skin on. We're the only Bible that many will ever read. We're the only Jesus that many will ever see until we live in such a way with our whole heart that we're reflecting him, and they want to know who we know. So God bless you. Have an amazing weekend. This is not some let's get fired up message, but it's a stop and think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because when you know your why, the what takes care of itself. So have an amazing week, and I'll see you on next Friday.